Tonight you are going to do something your ancestors spent millions of years unable to do. You are going to apply heat to raw food and turn it into a meal. You won't think about it. You'll turn a dial or press a button, and within minutes, something inedible or dangerous in its raw state will become something your body can absorb completely and convert into the energy running through you right now. That process, fire meeting food, is the single most consequential behavioral shift in the history of your species. Not language, not tools, not agriculture, cooking. And the strangest part is that we still don't know exactly when it began. Let's start with what cooking actually did to you, because the evidence is written into your body whether you can read it or not. Your gut is too small. Not in a way that causes problems, in a way that tells a story. Compared to other great apes of similar body weight, the human digestive tract is roughly 60% shorter than it should be. A chimpanzee has a massive barrel-shaped gut designed to process raw plant matter over long, slow hours of internal fermentation. Yours doesn't. Your digestive system is built for food that has already been partly broken down before it arrives. Pre-digested, which is exactly what cooking does. Meat is dense, fibrous, and locked behind protein structures that take enormous metabolic energy to break apart. Cooking denatures those proteins. It ruptures cell walls. It kills pathogens. It makes nutrients available that would otherwise pass straight through you. A raw potato yields roughly 50% of its calories to the human digestive system. The same potato, cooked, yields close to 100. That difference between half your food and all of it is the difference between a species barely surviving and a species with enough energy left over to do something else. Something like build a larger brain. Your brain is expensive. It represents 2% of your body weight and consumes 20% of your total caloric intake every single day. No other organ comes close to that ratio, and for most of human prehistory, fueling that machine on raw food alone was barely possible. The calories weren't there consistently enough. In 2009, Harvard primatologist Richard Wrangham published a book called Catching Fire: How Cooking Made Us Human. His argument was not that cooking was a useful invention we stumbled upon along the way. His argument was that cooking is the reason we became human at all, that the shift to cooked food created a caloric surplus large enough to drive the dramatic expansion of the human brain, generation by generation, over hundreds of thousands of years. The smaller gut freed up energy. The cooked food delivered more of it. And all of that surplus went somewhere. It went to the brain. Wrangham's hypothesis carried a specific prediction. If cooking drove brain expansion, then the species that first started cooking should show anatomical evidence of it. Smaller teeth, narrower rib cage, reduced gut, a larger brain case. And when you look at the fossil record, that is exactly what you find. Not in Homo sapiens, but in Homo erectus, a species that appeared roughly 1.8 million years ago and looked more like us than anything that had come before it. Homo erectus had smaller molars than its predecessors. Its rib cage was narrower, suggesting a significantly reduced digestive tract. Its brain case was dramatically larger than any hominin that preceded it, and it was the first human species to leave Africa, spreading east into Asia and north into colder latitudes no earlier human had reached. Something had changed. Something had given it an advantage no species before it possessed. Wrangham's argument is that the something was fire, but here's where the science gets uncomfortable, because the archaeological evidence hasn't cooperated cleanly. Finding proof of controlled fire is not like finding a fossil. Bone preserves, stone preserves. Fire leaves ash, charred material, and chemically altered minerals, evidence that scatters, dilutes, and misreads across hundreds of thousands of years. For decades, the earliest convincing evidence of humans controlling fire came from Wonderwork Cave in the northern Cape of South Africa. In 2012, a team led by Francesco Berna at Boston University published a detailed analysis of burned bone fragments and plant ash embedded deep within the cave's sediment layers. The burning was not from a wildfire. The pattern was too contained, too localized, too deliberate. Their estimated date: approximately 1 million years ago. Homo erectus, sitting inside a cave, controlling fire, 1 million years ago. Before the first Neanderthal. Before Homo sapiens existed anywhere on Earth. Before any human had reached Europe. Fire was already being used deliberately in a cave in southern Africa by a species most people have never thought about. But Wrangham's model needs fire to go back even further. If Homo erectus began evolving smaller guts and bigger brains 1.8 million years ago, then cooking must have started before or alongside that anatomical shift. The gap between the skeleton and the ash is nearly 800,000 years, and no single site has closed it cleanly. Either fire was used earlier and the evidence hasn't survived, or Homo erectus practice got its caloric boost through other means, perhaps by pounding and slicing raw meat, which research has shown can meaningfully improve digestibility even without heat. Or perhaps fire was used sporadically long before it was controlled consistently enough to leave a trace we can still read. And here's the part that almost every account of this story leaves out. Cooking may not have started with meat at all. In 2016, David Braun at George Washington University and colleagues published an analysis of animal bones from a site in Kenya dated to 1.5 million years ago. The bones showed cut marks from stone tools, no evidence of burning. Whatever early humans were doing with that meat, they were processing it, not cooking it. The strongest early evidence for deliberate use of fire on food comes from work by Naama Goren Inbar at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. Her excavation at Gesher Beno Yaakov in Israel, a site dated to approximately 780,000 years ago, produced evidence of fire use alongside seeds, wood, and plant remains, specifically starchy roots and tubers, the kind of food that transforms dramatically under heat. Her team's argument was that plant foods, not meat, may have been the first thing our ancestors put into the fire. Meat likely came later. After the principle was already established, this overturns the image most people carry. We imagine a hunter dragging a carcass back to camp and holding it over flames. The more likely origin is quieter. A root dropped accidentally near a fire. A forager noticing it tastes different, easier, richer. An experiment repeated by someone else, then someone else again. Not a single invention, but a slow discovery, passed forward through thousands of generations of small adjustments that nobody recorded and nobody planned. There is something else cooking did that the calorie argument almost always overshadows. It changed how humans spent time together. A chimpanzee spends between 6 and 8 hours every day chewing. That is not an exaggeration. Raw food requires that much jaw work to break down into anything usable. Our nearest living relatives are, in a very literal sense, eating machines. Their social lives, travel, their entire daily structure is organized around the continuous need to find and chew raw food. Cooking compresses what would be hours of mechanical chewing into minutes of eating, and it frees up time that no primate before Homo erectus had ever had. Time to sit, time to talk, time to plan, time to teach. Some researchers argue that the campfire, the gathering point that cooking creates, is where human social complexity was actually born. Not in the hunt, not in the tool, in the circle of people sitting around a heat source waiting for food to be ready. The fire didn't just feed us, it organized us. Now look at your own body, because the evidence doesn't stop in the fossil record. There is a reason the smell of cooking meat is almost impossible to ignore. When fat and protein hit heat, they undergo a chemical process called the Maillard reaction, producing hundreds of aromatic compounds that trigger a response in your brain that is not subtle and not optional. It is not a learned preference. It is a pull built into your nervous system, something older than language, older than memory, older than your species in its current form. You were not taught to find that smell compelling. You were built for it over 1 million years of selection pressure that rewarded the individuals who sought cooked food and avoided raw. The same logic runs in reverse. Most humans find raw animal flesh deeply unappealing in a way that is not purely cultural. The revulsion is physiological. Your digestive system evolved alongside the expectation that meat would arrive cooked, pathogens dead, proteins already partly denatured, the metabolic work already partially done. Present it with something raw, and the response is not preference. It is a body calibrated to one kind of input encountering something outside its design parameters. You are not a raw animal that learned a useful trick. You are an animal that was transformed by that trick so thoroughly over so many generations that your biology no longer functions properly without it. So here is where the science actually stands. We have anatomical evidence in Homo erectus suggesting cooking began somewhere around 1.8 million years ago. We have direct evidence of controlled fire at Wonderwork Cave at 1 million years ago. We have evidence of deliberate fire use with plant foods at Gesher Beno Yaakov at 780,000 years ago. We have a gap nearly 800,000 years wide between the anatomy and the earliest confirmed ash that no single site has closed. And we have a body that tells us, in every system, that this was not an invention layered onto an already complete human. It was the event that completed the human. The question of when ancient humans first cooked meat does not have a clean answer. Not yet. But every line of evidence points in the same direction, backward, further than expected, deeper into the human story than any of us were taught. Tonight, when you cook something, you are not performing a modern convenience. You are repeating an act so old it predates your species in its current form. You are running a process that shrank your gut, grew your brain, and set every ancestor you have ever had on a path that ended here, in this moment, with you. The fire was never just a tool. It was the beginning of everything that followed. We just forgot how far back it goes.